Welcome back. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm very excited about my next set of guests. We have Laura Barnett from REMAX DFW Associates, one of not only the premier realtors here in the DFW area, but also in the nation. She's got over $20 million, or is slated to do over $20 million in production in 2013 in personal sales. She's a true professional and an expert and has been in this game for almost over 20 years, or almost 20 years?
23.
23 years. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
You bet. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Glad to do it.
And then we have Mr. Robert DeLeon, a jokester, a hipster, no, not a hipster, the office manager over at, and both broker associates over at REMAX DFW and Associates, but the office manager, making everything run, making that ship run. Like I was telling you earlier, it's great to deal with a good agent and to have that, but they also need support too to make sure that your process and your transaction goes smoothly. Robert makes sure that that happens, and it's very important that the office functions in a way that there's just so many moving parts now. There's over 9 companies and 30 people now that deal with each given transaction on a home loan. So it's very important to have experts in every area of the transaction. So, Robert, thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, good. All right. And then Gabe here is staying with us this next couple of segments, Utility Concierge Man, because I'm so excited that we have some more top agents that are using your services, because it's so critical that people understand the importance and the value that you could bring. So thanks for sticking around for me, buddy. Okay, Laura, you've been in the game 23 years. You've seen, obviously, both of you, and Robert, how long have you been in this business?
I mean, this will be 14 years for me.
14 years, okay, and 12 for me. That's great. And so we've been in a while. Everybody knows what they're doing here. That's important. So, Laura, when we were talking about some things and you seeing the ups and downs of the markets here, how would you compare this year in 2013 to the last 5 years?
This year was crazy. This year, just January 1, something happened. It just exploded. And I don't think we were ready for it. I think it caught us off guard a little bit, but by golly, we got with it. We got going. The past years before that, we were coming out of a recession. People were a little leery, but somebody must have made an announcement and said, we have hit the bottom by now. and it has been since January. It's tough to get a day off. It's we literally are on the phone all the time.
And you have a team too, don't you?
I don't have a team. I'm an individual. I have a network of agents I refer to when we get signed calls and things like that. I have a smoking assistant that she just really works hard and she does a lot of stuff, and it's just amazing what we get done in the office, where we are top producers and we have great systems and we're in place. Okay, so now, as being a top producer, you can go anywhere and can be attached to any company you want, and there's a lot of real estate brokerages out there. Why, not just REMAX, but specifically REMAX DFW and Associates, why REMAX there? Why are you there? REMAX.
Throwing you on, I'm putting you on the spot, Robert. He's like, what are you doing?
Now I'm sweating.
The numbers have to work. I compare to all of them, and really REMAX makes the numbers work the best. But by the same token, they're very professional. They even, always are quizzing us on the legal updates and things that we a lot of times don't have time to look at.
Right.
And so you really need somebody who's really given that their full-time concentration when we're out doing all the other things. And so we get those briefings, we get those emails, the latest technology, everything that comes in, they're bringing that to us and keeping us up to date on it. I really don't want to do management. Right. I am a broker, not just an agent, but I don't want that job. I know what I'm good at, and I know what they're good at, and I like it the way it is. Good.
You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. We're talking with Laura Barnett and Robert DeLeon of REMAX DFW and Associates. Robert, as the office manager there, now we know Laura is a top producer, and she says, well, this year's been just fantastic. Now, you've got a lot of great talent at your office, but sometimes certain agents go, yeah, it's been awesome, and other agents are like, no, it's not really been that great. It's not been different. Now, so you have a different perspective because you get to you're working with a ton of different agents. How do you see this market, and how are your agents seeing this market as versus the last 5 years?
That's a great question. I love coming into the office because I love hearing enthusiasm at a high level, like you just heard from Laura here. When you have true professionals in the real estate industry that are focused full-time, full service, and the goal that they have is to have the best possible transaction for their clients, it inspires everyone in the office. And I'm a big believer that success breeds success. And people, whether they're the top producers in our offices or the median income producers in our office, they are not intimidated by one another. They love to share with one another. I have so many agents that come to me and want to be involved with showing agents around the office, training, what can we do with share, because they understand that when there's the other agents in the office have success in real estate, that it affects everybody's business all the way around. And I think we have true entrepreneurs there, all the way from Dave Liniger, the co-founder of REMAX, down to Mark Wolf, the broker-owner of REMAX DFW Associates, and they want to follow suit. And it's very inspiring.
It's great for the culture. It really helps the culture.
It's phenomenal.
So when you're looking at this year now, Laura, and it's been spectacular, and we have heard that everywhere. It's just, gangbusters. It's can't pick up the phone fast enough. It's going back, early 2000s for us in the mortgage industry. Is just pick up a phone and somebody's breathing and you're doing a loan. And so now, this is great. Do you have a pulse? I think so. Okay,
experienced a lot.
Those were the days.
I can't tell you how many people I worked with. Really? You qualify?
Exactly. I can buy $1 million worth of a home. I don't know. That's what the numbers say. I make $4,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? So, Laura, this winter, right? We're in the fall. So are you seeing, what kind of pace are you seeing now versus just a couple of months ago? And what are you projecting going in the next few months as far as how the housing market?
Well, I have 5 closings this week.
That'll say a lot. Yeah.
I mean, we don't stop. We really don't. You just pray you can get your taxes done. I mean, it's just that
It's too late
busy.
for that, by the way. Bad news, Laura. 2 weeks overdue. I got mine done on October 14th. Thank you very much.
Yay, good job.
Nice.
It was good. Well, my CPA did. I was like, I'm sorry it took me forever to get you all
It
of
would
the
be
stuff.
poor time management to do it any other.
Exactly. A procrastinator's dream. So are you seeing it slowing down? I guess you're not. So you're just you're just going strong all the way through the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have relocation buyers every weekend.
Relocation buyers. So that brings up an interesting point. So you have a lot of people. Where are the people that where are they relocating from typically? And why Dallas? Why do you think Dallas is such a great place to live right now?
A lot of companies are relocating here. We just have a better tax benefits for those companies to come. They want to be here. Our cost of living is really low, so the employees want to come. The houses, our housing market's one of the least expensive in the nation, really. And so, all those factors together, there's a lot of perks here.
Yeah. Where are you seeing most people relocating from in your business?
All over, everywhere. As a matter of fact,
Worldwide.
we were just talking about Time Magazine has an issue out this month. I think the United States of Texas, if I'm not mistaken, something like that is the title of it. and all the different people that are coming in from all over the nation to come here because it just makes sense. It's a good area. We recovered from the recession really fast. Part of that is partly because we have oil here and everything else, but it's our foreclosure rate was just a fraction of what everybody else's was in the recession. And so with that said, it's a stable investment.
Like you said earlier, you make the numbers work. Texas makes the numbers work. We've got good diversified employment. We don't get crazy appreciation rates. We're steady. We're the tortoise. We always steady growth, though, and it's manageable and predictable in a sense, and that helps people feel secure, helps want to move here, and that's a great place to be. Texas is a great place to be. Be careful. I told you we could secede if you don't watch out. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. It could happen. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Coming up, as a part of the show, we want to make sure we're always giving great tips for buyers and sellers and what you need to look for when you are in the market right now. We're going to get back with Laura and Robert and hear from the experts on what are some great tips that could save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of stress. Next. And we're back. Welcome back, Dallas. Thank you so much for staying with us. What a power-packed hour we have. You are listening to Tuttle Talk. My special guests today, Laura Barnett and Robert DeLeon of REMAX DFW Associates. Guys, thank you so much for staying with us here. I know the last segment we talked generally about Dallas and what's going on in the market and the state of the market, and we got some really good information from you, kind of a great perspective, I think, about how hot the market is and how you feel it's going to stay hot. But, Robert, I have a more practical question because, again, one of the points of this show is to provide practical tips for buyers and sellers in this market. And so what, for buyers out there right now, or sellers really, what do you think are some key points of advice that they need to take with them to make sure that they have a perfect purchase?
You know, Andy, I think today more than ever, it's really important for consumers to start doing their research in advance, getting connected with a full-time, full-service realtor, working with top-notch professional lenders, and letting them, like Andy Tuttle, and putting together a plan to buy or sell in order to get what they want, when they want, in the time frame they want, at the price they want. You know, I mean, there's just so much. The market's always changing. The rules on financing have changed. I mean, you know, that almost daily we're having to deal with changes in terms and programs out there. But not only that, especially when you work in a market like this here, where you do have people coming here, and when people relocate here, it's more than just wow, I can get a great deal on a house here compared to the East Coast and West Coast, right? I'd like to buy 2 houses versus 1 on there, right? But here it's about communities, and it's about what the cities have to offer, and the agents, they spend, like Laura, spends so much time staying current with what's going on in the market, what's out there in inventory, what's in her client's best interest.
So I think all of that is so important because your part-time agent Aunt Susie from Minnesota that wants to help you buy or sell your house down here is not the person you want to go to, even though you think because she took a discounted commission that she's saving you money. You're going to be spending 10 times that in not only frustration but actual dollars you can lose on your house. So you don't have a great negotiator, either buying or selling. If you don't have a great negotiator on the sell side that'll stand the ground for that price and justify it and help you sell it, then you're losing a lot of money. If you don't have as a buyer someone that can help you negotiate and find the holes in that and get you to get that seller to come off that price if you need it, or find you the best spot where you want to raise your kids, then you're losing a ton of money and a ton of time. And so I know, though, that the process and the importance of a realtor goes well beyond just finding the house and negotiating the contract. And Robert, one of the things you mentioned to me on the break was that one of the things you respect so much about Laura is that she feels her job almost just starts at the contract.
Putting together the buyer plan or the seller plan is one thing, but once you get a contract, that's when really the important work needs going.
And Laura, that's where you do that important work. What do you think for a buyer that may be in a contract right now? What are some tips for them, or a seller that's got the contract on their house? What are some things that you think that you do for your clients and that a client needs to know, or homeowner needs to know, that, hey, do this because it's going to alleviate some stress on you during this process?
We try to do things, you're right, to just simplify it. They're already stressed out. They've got enough going on. They don't need any more. But we have just a group of professionals that we work with, from inspectors to handymen to, of course, loan officers. and Utility Concierge is a good example. It's a company that, boy, they can just hook up all their utilities, and it's one less thing that they have to think about. They're trying to think about so many things, and they're moving, and you know, but they still have to take the kids to soccer practice, and they still have to do everything in a normal life that everybody does every day.
Right.
And we're stressed out with that. So we try to take as much as we can off their hands, so that it's just they can concentrate on what they need to focus on.
And that is a big deal, and I do love that. Thank you, Laura. Look at you, Gabe.
Thank you very much.
Aren't you glad you stuck around?
I'm glad I stuck around today.
That is a plug right there, if I've ever heard one. And it's true, because, you know, there's so many things that you got to connect: your electricity, your security, your internet, your cable, your phone, whatever. And that's a lot of calls. But if you make one call, Utility Concierge sets it up, and you're good to go. And I love that about what you guys do. In fact, if you want to get connected today to that and find out where you're at, you can text the word utility. Text utility to 469-319-0660, 469-319-0660, and we'll get you connected. Basically a free analysis on your current utility plan. Right, Gabe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talked about folks relocating and how stressful it is. And, you know, Dallas has a lot more choices, or Texas has a lot more choices than anywhere else in the country. So we're a great help for people that are relocating, because they just don't know what's available here. And then also for folks that's been in their home for a couple of years and their contracts might ran out, and people know they're paying too much for stuff. They just don't have the time to do it. They know that, if they spend 2 hours on the phone with their providers griping, they're going to get a better deal. Well, that's what we do for them. So they know they're paying too much. They just need to get in touch with us, and we'll find out how we can save them some money.
Yeah, Andy, I was actually going to add that not only do these guys work with the agents and hooking up their new transactions that are closing, but their current clients as well. It's a reason to connect with them, and I've used the service personally myself, and it's great because I was just talking about changes in real estate and lending, but what about changes in utility companies? I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people. Hey, I saw an ad on TV for ABC company and providing this service, and then I call and check on it. It's not available. So how about calling Utility Concierge and getting it? They tell you everything that's available in that area. It's really awesome.
There's a lot of changes there too, and I appreciate that. And Laura, I know that you stick with it, like Robert was saying. You keep up with a lot of changes, and you feel the ones that you can't keep up with, Robert and the team there helps keep up with. So it's a nice team, right, atmosphere. So speaking of changes, though, as far as coming up in this next year, and I would say maybe some advice to buyers right now from you, one of the premier experts, especially in our marketplace, but really in the nation, that you would give to, based on the coming changes coming up, what's some of the best advice right now you can give to people that are thinking about either getting in the market to buy or thinking about maybe putting their house on the market?
I would say buy soon. Buy as soon as you can right now. With everything that we're seeing coming down the pipeline, it's going to get harder, I'm afraid, with the lenders, and they need to hurry up and get qualified. Call a lender, get qualified, see what you can, what you can afford to buy, and certainly, make a conscious decision. If you call the Realtor, they can start sending you homes. A lot of the sites that they go to online, they're nice, but they're not current. So getting with a good realtor, they can set you up on a site with things that are truly on the market and give them a good idea of what they can get for their money. So between those two things, they can start doing quite a bit of the research at home.
I love that. Well, Laura Barnett, Robert DeLeon, thank you so much for your advice and your time today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Love to have you back. Remember, if you want to purchase, if you're looking to purchase right now and you want to you're in that early stage and you don't know, text the word purchase. The word purchase to 469-319-0660. Not only are you going to get my free article about the 3 Ps to a perfect purchase, you're going to get that, but you're also going to get connected. We'll have one of our team call you and talk to you about where you're at in the process and get you set up with Laura to have a discussion about what really needs to take place to make sure that you have the perfect purchase either at the end of this year or in the coming year. So we're happy to do that for you. So you can reach out to us, 469-319-0660, and we'll set that up. And as usual, we are out of time, but I am still going to squeeze it. If I knew people watch Jimmy Kimmel that listen to this show, because if I did, I would use the Matt Damon joke every time. Yes. But very quickly, you said it took you 3 minutes. I need you to do it in 30 seconds.
Wow, okay.
What is the more cool tech segment today? Go!
Today we have an app called Duolingo. Duolingo, Duolingo. It is very helpful for, especially people here in Texas, need to learn a second language like Spanish. This app, you just start it up on your phone, and it's got different levels. It'll start you off with the basics and everything from vocabulary, how to make a sentence, but without making you sit there and repeat the same word over and over, not the way the schools do it. They also have a very cool website you can go to that's tied in perfectly with the app. I've actually gotten a couple of people started on this, and now Heather and I at the office actually text each other in Spanish.
Oh, that is fantastic. Say abbreviated, do a call to action, but in Spanish.
Si usted quiere aprender más español, tú puedes ir a la página de web duolingo.com.
Well, there it is.
Wow.
It works.
Wow, that's impressive.
I think that's not how he learned Spanish.
That all happened right now.
Wow, that was live. All right. Thank you, sir. What a great segment. What a great show. I want to thank our special guests today, of course, Laura Barnett and Robert DeLeon. I'd like to thank my expert contributors, John Allen at Texas Community Insurance and Gabe Abshire over at Utility Concierge. Of course, Brian, thank you for always bringing it, brother. And I'd like to thank Dan Bradford, our production director, and the entire family here at 660 AM The Answer. That's it for today's show. Don't forget, you can call us, reach out to us, 469-319-0660, or get access to all past shows and get involved in the community at andytuttle.com. Thank you for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM The Answer. You can reach Andy at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or email him, questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.